Hi SB friends, welcome to the very first episode of our podcast, Strengths in Me. I'm JY.
I'm SY.
I'm M.
I'm Ati.
And I'm Bobby. So how are you guys doing today?
We are good. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, holidays and like work, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can say that. I mean, in a sense, like, we all just come back to the podcast and it's like honestly freaking boring for me. Okay, well, move on to the podcast itself. Why did we choose strength? For me personally, like, when people ask me what is my strength, I feel a little bit shy to say it honestly, because in my mind it's like I know I'm not like very good at it. I'm just decent. You know what I mean? Yeah. What about you guys?
For me, okay, when you're put in like situations where like let's say we are in a class, like the first day of like a class or something, and then the teacher asks us to have self-introductions, and then they ask you, say your name, say what's your strength, say your hobbies, and then you just get stuck there. You don't know what your strength is at all. So like that's personally what I felt, and also it's very hard to say a strength with like a class full of people when you don't even know your own strength, so you just try to say something to get out of it that way. So I feel like this is one reason why I chose, like personally I feel like this is one reason why I agree with that we should choose this topic. How about the rest of you?
I think for me, so this whole podcast, one of the reasons why we are doing it is so that we can help you guys to like embrace your strengths and find your strengths. And sometimes I think for me it's like you can see that you are good in some things, but it's hard for you to embrace that you are good at it, and sometimes there's a lot of self-doubt, etc. So I think that's why I resonate with this, because like doing this podcast can help to embrace our strengths better.
So for me, this topic resonates with me as I feel that I don't know what's my strength. Like, it's very awkward for me to say something like, what if people think, oh, I'm just boasting, or like, what if actually I think I'm good at it, but like other people don't feel the same way. Yeah. So like, I just feel that maybe through this podcast I can like learn to identify my strength as well as see the strength in others.
I agree. So for me, I feel that knowing your strength is very important. As like, for example, if you're going to work for interview, like you need to know your strengths for the interview so that you can be more confident during the interview. Knowing your strengths also help you make better choices generally, and especially in our career.
So like for our viewers or listeners, what's the definition of strength? Somebody wanna read out? Or we have onwards?
Okay guys, so let's look at the academic definition of strengths. The academic definition is the ability to do something which requires a lot of mental or physical effort.
So essentially it is how strong something or someone is, like the degree of so-called power. But since strength differs, or how we look at strength is different for each of us, so SY, what does strength mean to you?
I think to me strength means mental strength, because mental strength is very important to us on how we overcome setbacks, and I feel that physical strength is not as important, as one can train to be physically strong, but to become mentally strong is harder. Yeah. So yeah, your turn, JY.
To me, strength is something that comes from within. It's a quality that can be cultivated that's beneficial to yourself and the people around you. I think that anything can be a strength depending on how you view them. So for example, if someone is easygoing, what do you think of that person? Do you think it's a strength or a weakness?
I think it can be a strength and a weakness also, yeah. It goes both ways, because like your weakness can be like, obviously there are people that like just too chill, like don't care about work. If like they don't do, it's okay. If they don't pass, it's alright. Like as long as they are happy. But of course, like you must take pride in what you do, and like have like a little bit of a sense of responsibility. So it can obviously also be a strength. So because like when if you're easygoing, you can talk to people easier and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, if you're too easygoing, it might be a weakness because like people might just step all over you, and like they think that you won't get angry, and they might like just take advantage of the fact that you're easygoing. But then I mean, it can also be a strength, like what Bobby said. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I think for me, more than mental strength, I think resilience is like the pillar of mental strength, because like through resilience you can overcome anything, which is like what you said basically. Yeah. What do you think?
I feel like honestly there's two sides to everything. Like anything can be like a strength or a weakness. So like you really just have to weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah, I think like it's all about finding a balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like let's say, yeah, sure, the resilience has like the most number of pros for like strengths, right? Like, but too much of resilience can also be weakness because you won't be able to let go of things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think I agree with SY because I feel that mental strength really is the root. Like even for physical strength, you want to train your physical strength, you need to start from the mental strength. You need that strength in the mental strength in you to develop your physical strength. So
To persevere through the hard training.
yeah. So you can't just have physical strength like easily. You know, everything really I feel stems from mental strength.
I understand. Yeah, so we should like bring in some examples of like strength in our daily life. So personally for me, I was actually like when I was a young boy, right, whenever I felt sad and cried or something, I was always told like, you're a strong boy, don't cry. Right? Or when I like come home complaining about my teacher or something like that, angry, then my parents would be like, you're a strong boy, deal with it. So like it was instilled in me as a boy, as a small kid, like being strong, it means like shutting out your emotions, you know? Like being able to dissociate your emotions from the situation and look at it from an objective view. But obviously being strong also means like to be able to be secure about how you feel, right? So obviously it's hard for me to open up to people now, but I'm trying my best, and I think that's like an example of strength in my daily life, even if it's like not very big. It's not something very big for other people. Yeah. JY?
I think that something as simple as waking up in the morning every day to do the things that you don't like doing, but you still do it for the greater good, shows that you are strong. So everyone knows that life is not easy, and the fact that people know that it is not easy and they choose to stay self-disciplined, responsible, and continue to survive, that's strength to me.
For me, I think strength in my daily life is going to school every day, as I come from JC, and going from JC to Poly after not being able to go to uni is a huge blow to me, and I feel that going to school every day is like a reminder that, oh, I did not make it to university course that I want to go. So I feel that going to school every day is considered a strength.
I think for me, strength is being able to handle everything in life in general, be it work or personal for me, because sometimes I tend to get overwhelmed very easily. So to sometimes when I get overwhelmed and when I'm pushed to my extremes, it's very tempting to give up, but I think that's where strength plays a part, where I tell myself it's okay, we can do this, let's push on. And I think that's strength for me in daily life.
For me, it's actually quite similar to what JY actually mentioned, like the ability to do something that you don't want to do, for you to be able to toughen up and deal with it. I think that actually requires a lot of mental strength, and people don't really realize how strong people are who do that. Because like imagine like doing something that you really don't want to do almost every day, it really takes a toll on you. So when you learn, it's like your ability to learn to appreciate it, to learn to deal with it, to learn how to come to terms with it, really will take a lot on you, and that requires a lot of strength.
So maybe now the viewers and listeners can like take a minute to think about and reflect about what they do in their daily lives that really showcases their strength.
So as well, just now you said that obviously like when you go to school it's like a blow to you, right? But you're still going to school every day, and I think like that's very strong of you. But I want to ask you like, how do you actually push yourself to go through that every day?
I mean, like, I can't just, stop at where I am and then just, like, wallow in my own sadness, right? So, like, I feel like, and plus, I believe that if I continue in poly, maybe something good will come out of it, and maybe there's still hope. So, that's what made me continue, like, going to school, I guess.
So you look at the other opportunities you have and take them.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I just sit down there and get depressed and everything, then like there's nothing gonna come out of it. It's just a vicious cycle. So I rather I do something about it and improve from the situation.
And that's a good example of resilience also, right? Yeah. So anybody else got any questions or any stories or whatever? No? Okay, so moving on. I think a lot of us get confused between what mental strength and mental health is. So basically, the easiest explanation or the easiest analogy I can give you is that, and I got this from a website by the way, it's not just me. The easiest analogy I can give you is that it's the same as physical strength and physical health. You can be physically strong and physically unhealthy. And you can be physically healthy but not physically strong. Yeah. Just like the simplest explanation. So we're going to talk about how
I would like to add on. I think mental health is about your well-being, your mental wellness, how you are doing mentally. But mental strength is about the values that you have. Do you think?
I think more than values though, it's like how strong you hold on to those values.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some healthy ways you guys improve your mental strength?
To improve mental strength, I think that it's very important to understand that both physical health and mental health are connected. So if you have poor physical health, it can lead to an increase of developing mental health problem and vice versa. So I think it's very important to take care of your physical health by being active. So being active doesn't necessarily mean going to the gym and doing sports. So it can be something as simple as doing housework. So find something that you like to do to keep yourself active. For me, I like to walk. So whenever I feel like life is too much to handle, I'll go for a nature walk. Like don't even bring your phone and just go out and walk. So it really helps me so much, and it just makes me feel so relaxed and I can breathe. So being around nature is it really feels really peaceful, and it helps to calm me down from all the hectic things in life. It also helps to bring a friend along. So while you guys walk, you can actually share with each other about what's going on in your life. Honestly, I don't really like to talk about my feelings, but it is so important to talk about feelings. No one should ever suppress their feelings. When you don't acknowledge your feeling, that feeling will build up, and one day you will eventually explode. So many times you probably hear people telling you that there are other people that are having it worse than you. But no matter what, you should never compare your struggles. It's good to understand what's going on around you, but that doesn't mean that you should invalidate your feelings. So everyone is going through different things, and no one can determine whether how big or small your problem is. So each person's problem is unique. For me, I feel like talking to a friend and knowing that someone is there to listen can actually help you feel supported and less alone. So me and my friends, we started this schedule where we would go for a run together 2 times a week, and made me feel so healthy, and like it helps me to sleep better at night as well.
But you said that you go for walk. How long do you usually walk for?
As long as I need lor.
At the park?
Yeah, I usually go to a park near my house.
Damn, I wish I have fun. Actually, I do, but the park is like really, really small.
So for me, I think to improve mental strength, sleep is very important because like I feel like it affects your mood if you don't have enough sleep. And once you are not feeling good, your whole day is just ruined and you won't think of anything positively at all. And adding on to what JY said, I also agree that keeping an active lifestyle also helps to improve mental strength, as I personally work out a lot to help me feel relaxed, to relieve stress. And lastly, I think having faith and hope is also one of the pillars that support me to having mental strength. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I think I resonate with what JY said a lot about having someone to talk to and having someone supportive to hear you, because like I mentioned before, I tend to get overwhelmed easily, and sometimes like it's not good to bottle it all up, but sometimes I do tend to. And for me, I think my support system is my brother, because he's really close to me, and whenever I feel like I'm facing a lot of issues, my brother is usually the first person I go to. And he has like seen me since like young, like from where, so he knows everything that I've been through, and so he's always been there for me. And it's very reassuring that, you know, even when I feel like I'm struggling, I know that I have my brother. I know that he'll be there for me, which is very reassuring. And I think for me another part would be also like resilience, like because if you have resilience, it's like a value that if you hold strong to yourself, you have the ability to like try to overcome whatever you're facing, and it will be easier on you mentally as well if you try to like cultivate resilience.
Personally, for me, I feel like I actually go into 2 different extremes. It's either I need to be really alone, like no one around me, or even if there are people around me, I don't need them talking to me. I really need to be in my own headspace. It's either that, or I need to surround myself with people I'm really close to, like my best friends or like even my family. So one thing I do, like when I want to be alone, something that I love to do is I would actually go to East Coast Park with my family, and I'll just lay a separate mat for myself beside the water and just dip my feet in the water, and it's the most therapeutic thing I've ever felt. It's honestly so calming. You can just look out into like the moon, and you can smell the salty sea, and it's really just the one thing that I always do. Like every time I'm too stressed or something, like I would ask my parents, can we go to the ECP? Can we go to ECP? And I would pester them until they will say like, okay, Saturday we can go. And that is the time I really release all my pent up emotions, I would say. But over like that's for weekends, right? So weekdays I really can't go to the ECP, especially considering the fact that I live in the West. So what I would do is I would like randomly meet up with my secondary school friends, and we won't even eat, or we won't really like talk about our feelings or anything. It's just I need them around me so that I can comfort myself and know that they're there for me. It's just the feeling of comfort that I get from them. We would just play Uno or like Monopoly, or we will just buy something like from Old Chang Kee and just sit there like talking about school or anything that comes to mind. And I feel like these two things, even though they are on both the extreme ends, it has really helped me to improve my mental strength, as it helps me to overcome my unhealthy stress.
Yeah, I think one way to improve your mental strength is actually to cultivate habits that help you release this stress. So, for me personally, obviously I just sometimes I don't like to open up to people. So every time I feel stressed, like very very pressured, I just, number one, either go to the gym and work it out, or number two, I'll just find a room, lock myself in, plug in my music, and then I'll just stay there for like a few hours, just slowly letting this energy into the atmosphere. Because when you're alone, when it's quiet, you get to think a little bit, and you get to like honestly just feel the music and stuff like that. And then for the moment, you just lose yourself. You don't think about the world, don't think about anything. Yep, it's a little bit short. Like my part is a little bit short, but it really works for me.
So with that, we have actually come to the end of our discussion on strengths, and we hope that us sharing our personal experiences on what strengths mean to us, what is the differences between mental and physical strength, and lastly, how our personal experiences with how we battle against improving our mental strength will help you guys to reflect and actually think of your own ways to improve your strengths as well.
Yeah, so that's the end of our episode. We have a few more episodes coming up. And with that, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.